Guyana's farmers can now breathe easier knowing that going forward, fertilizer that is sold to them is of the highest quality and is what it is touted to be by those importing fertilizer in bulk. This is now possible with the commissioning Wednesday of a multi-million-dollar state-of-the-art laboratory by the Pesticides and Toxic Chemicals Control Board, PTCCB, which now has oversight of fertilizer being imported into the country. Speaking at the simple commissioning exercise in the boardroom of the PTCCB at Monrepo, Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa said the laboratory will be responsible for testing fertilizer upon arrival in the country to ensure that farmers are getting value for their money.
Since taking office, I have had the opportunity to visit a number of farming communities in many regions, and I can clearly tell you, in many of those visits, farmers have echoed their concern about the quality of fertilizer imported and distributed in Guyana. And on this note, I also want to commend the director here, Ms. David, because she has been very proactive with me going out, and Mr. Amit Chan. They have been going about with me on these outreaches across the country. And now they have a first-hand knowledge of the issues that farmers are faced with on a daily basis. And this is the kind of way we intend to focus on the agriculture sector. Not only the politicians going out and coming back with directives, but the officers going out also to listen to the complaint and take those concerns of the farmers on board and be more responsive to the needs of the farmers. This project here today tells us that this is direct response to the needs of our farmers, the problems they have been faced with over the last few years, and today we are addressing one of those concerns. And that is a major concern for the farmers around the country. As I said today, I am pleased to announce that the Pesticides and Toxic Chemical Laboratory has the capacity to monitor the quality of fertilizer imported in Guyana. We have received numerous complaints across the country where farmers are complaining about the substandard fertilizer that are in our market, where every person who brings in fertilizer into our country, they are not being tested. Today we have that laboratory here and we'll make full use of it. And I will encourage the stakeholders across the country to ensure that they come on board with us so that we can form that partnership and take the agriculture sector forward.
The new laboratory, one of two new additions to diagnostic capabilities of the Pesticide Board, was realized at a cost of just under 66 million Guyana dollars. Registrar of the board, Ms. Tricia David Garnath, in brief remarks, said the role of the Pesticide Board is often underestimated in terms of the importance to the agriculture sector, pointing to the establishment of the expanded testing capabilities as testimony to the commitment of the board to the sector.
Today's activity is an identification of the board's commitment to support our developing agriculture sector in Guyana. In 2017, the Bureau of Standards would identified, along with sister agencies in the Ministry of Agriculture, the gap in Guyana where there's no testing for fertilizers. And in 2019, at the level of the board, we began chasing down the opportunity to make this a reality for Guyana. Today I want to thank our minister. We've always been fortunate in having the support of our minister, and that's very important to us in achieving our objectives and our goals. And so today what we see this activity as is an opportunity for us to support our expanding agriculture sector and to enhance the lives of farmers out there in the communities as well.
The registrar pointed out that the role of the board is ever expanding in order to keep up with the evolving realities, especially as it relates to the new oil and gas sector.
The work of the board doesn't stop there. There are many other sectors in Guyana that we support, especially our newly established oil and gas sector. And there are other initiatives that will be on the board's agenda for 2021. And I want to assure all of you today that we will chase those objectives down, those goals down, with the same vigor, Minister, with the same fervency as we did in ensuring that we have a testing facility in Guyana for fertilizers.
Not only will the board be testing fertilizer shipments on arrival to Guyana, the board will also be monitoring the handling of the product after it is unloaded from the vessel to ensure that it is properly stored. Improper storage can result in the product becoming less effective. In his remarks, Minister Mustafa stressed that his government is committed to ensuring that Guyana is once again returned as the focal point for agriculture in the region, the leading producer and exporter of agricultural products to the region. But for this to happen, the use of fertilizers and other agrochemicals by farmers must be carefully regulated and monitored to ensure that what is produced is able to meet all the phytosanitary requirements for entry into regional and extra-regional markets.
And in this vein, I would like to say that Guyana, over the years, historically, Guyana has been the focal point for agriculture in the Caribbean. And over the last 5 years, we have ceded that position to St. Vincent. And rest assured, as Minister of Agriculture, I am optimistic that we will take back that position shortly as the chief spokesperson for agriculture in the Caribbean and in the Caribbean community. You know for a fact that our former president would have had an initiative that was adopted by CARICOM, and those initiatives are still relevant today to ensure that we have food security and we create jobs and create wealth in our country and in the Caribbean. Fertilizers are essential to food security and they must be used properly. Commercial fertilizers for a long time has only been regulated at mostly the import stage. However, starting immediately, not only will these agrochemicals be monitored for quality, but also the Pesticide and Toxic Control Board will support the monitoring of storage facilities and storage practices. The chemical properties of fertilizer can be impacted by storage condition. So these products will not only be monitored at import, but at other stages throughout the life cycle. I am also pleased to announce that fertilizer analysis will be conducted by a certified laboratory. The pesticide laboratory, certified in 2019, has already secured additional relevant certification for the fertilizer testing. This will be offered from the Guyana National Bureau of Standards. The agriculture sector, farmers and sister agencies like the GRDB all welcome the addition of this service now offered by the board. I am pleased to announce that efforts will continue to be made to support capacity building of this laboratory to support food safety in Guyana.
The Agriculture Minister challenged the board to continue to challenge themselves in meeting the demands of an evolving dynamic and touted the importance the new testing capacity holds for Guyana.
Our pesticide laboratory is now one of only 2 labs that has the capacity to offer these services in the Caribbean. Our government is committed to providing the financial and technical resources required for increasing our agriculture production while moving towards achieving our sustainable development goal. In this, once again, I want to congratulate the management here, and I know that they have been working a lot, and I want them to continue to work, and we'll be moving around the country so that we can take care of the needs of the farmers, so that we can push agriculture and make agriculture the #1 sector in our country once again.
Not only will the board be certifying fertilizer entering the country, but the board will also be doing sampling of crops sold locally for pesticide residue, which can be found in alarming quantities if farmers are not using their pesticides as stipulated or are not allowing for the safe period after chemical application before harvesting produce for the market. Following the formal ceremony, the minister, who was accompanied by his Director General, Mr. Ramjag, witnessed the handing over of the laboratory's Certificate of Competence by the National Bureau of Standards. The minister later engaged in the symbolic cutting of the ribbon to signify the commissioning of the new lab.